Okay, now this brings us to bring all the macronutrients together. So we had a look at carbohydrates, we had a look at fats, and we had a look at proteins. Now we're going to have a look at, and this is probably one that you've been wanting to see, is how do we put that into our lifestyle? How do we put this into our day? Here's the timing of the day for someone that's not exercising, it's just your normal day. All right, so you see we have a column there of red, that's our proteins. You see that you have 15 to 20% of daily intake of your protein. So there's a little bit of protein with every single meal. Your liver doesn't like to get bombarded with protein, so you just want to have a little bit with every meal. So you wake up in the morning, and when you wake up in the morning, your blood is going to be dry. So everything that you put in your bloodstream before you went to bed is going to more likely find a place to stay, yeah, in some cells somewhere in your body. All right, so your blood is going to end up dry in the morning. All right, so at this time you're also going to have a glycogen gap, yeah. So there's going to be that gap there, so you're ready to burn fat already. You wake up in the morning, you have breakfast. They woke up at 6 o'clock and now it's 6:30. They have a carbohydrate and a protein meal, and they start to fill up their cup with glycogen. Now, who can tell me of a protein and a carbohydrate meal that's suitable for breakfast? Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say eggs and porridge as well.
Eggs and porridge, yeah. Alex?
Breakfast cake.
Breakfast cake. I got a few laughs. So who knows about my breakfast cake? Yeah, a few. Yeah, okay, good. All right. Yeah, it's delicious. Eat it. Or the pancake, yeah. All right. All right, cool. All right, so you have your breakfast cake for breakfast, generally, you could put 40% of your daily intake there, yeah? Fill it up. Yeah, fill up your cup with a carbohydrate. You get to work, it's 9 o'clock, you start to fill up that cup a bit more. Now note that it's still not 100% full, yeah, this guy. It's still got a bit of a gap there, all right? So it still has that ability to burn fat, but we put in that carbohydrate bit by bit. Lunchtime comes, and what's a good meal that you can have at lunchtime which has both carbohydrate and protein? There we go, barley and chicken, all right. Or workout meals, you just ate it. All right, now down that green column there, we've got fiber, all right? So you have a little bit of fiber with every meal. You just got to make sure you have about, say, 20, 25, 30 grams a day. But I've just put it down there to make sure that you get your daily intake of fiber. We'll talk about that more later on. Now, okay, so this person's just about full, not totally full, but just about full with carbohydrate. And keep in mind that this person's trying to lose fat, okay? Haven't done any exercise for the day, so we're just having a look at a general day. Now, at lunchtime, they're full with glucose, and for the afternoon, switches to fats. Okay, so it's time to drain that. Now, fats are very slow. They've got all the carbohydrate they need for the day, and that's enough to sustain them for the rest of the day. So at their afternoon snack, they have a protein and a fat meal, and they start to run out of that glucose again. Yeah, so they've always got that gap. Starts to go home, has dinner, has a protein and a fat meal, and starts to run out of that glucose a little bit more. So what's a meal that you can have for dinner that has proteins, fats, and fiber? Steak, avocado. Yeah, steak and avocado sounds good. Nuts, something like that. Salmon. And then before bed, you have that fat to sustain you through the night. All right? Now, it runs out a little bit more glycogen again, and then is able to even burn fat through the night. Now, you're not going to need that glucose through the night, so this person's after that fat loss and can hold that. That's enough to sustain them through the night. And that fat is enough, has that slow digesting fuel to be able to sustain them through the night. But let's say we want to do some exercise. Oh, here we go. So keep a steady protein intake, a little bit of protein with every meal. Separate your carbohydrates from your fats. So have your carbohydrates to start your day. You're going to need that for your brain. You're going to need that to move around. And it's going to be enough by lunchtime to sustain you for the rest of the day. Fats to finish the day. Okay? Now let's have a look if this person wants to burn some fat. Now I'm going to share a little secret with you. Now it's not a secret to everyone because I've got some of my clients in the room. So now let's say we want to burn a lot of fat, all right? Now we wake up in the morning, same person, different day. And they've got that glycogen gap, so they're just about ready to start burning some fat. Now, the only exercise that you can do without any food in your stomach is a low-intensity cardio, like walking, like riding a bike steadily, like swimming, or something of the similar, yeah? So it's got to be low intensity, but this is your lower, because remember your metabolic rate is coming very slow, so you need to exercise at a slow rate, okay? So there's no influence from any foods yet. So see how there's that muscle, the metabolic rate of muscle is about to come in play? The only safe exercise you can do is this slow cardio without any influence from food. So, but there they've got that massive gap, and with that massive gap you're going to have that bigger demand for ketosis. So you can burn the most amount of fat when you're walking in the morning before you eat anything. So the rest of the day is exactly the same. They wake up, they start putting that fuel in again and start to fuel themselves back up. The rest is all the same. They start to fill themselves up, and then they switch to the fats for the night time. So the day works exactly the same as the day before it, except they've burnt an hour's worth of fat during their morning walk. Now let's have a look at, just say this person. Now we're going to have a look at the most optimal way to be able to facilitate someone that wants to perform, so some sort of athlete, but also wants to burn fat at the optimal level as well. So they want to perform optimally, but they want to burn fat optimally as well. So you wake up just like any other day, and you've got that glycogen gap. Now you can't do this high-intensive run, or you can't run at your maximum speed, or you can't do weights at your highest potential without that carbohydrate in there. You're just going to burn up muscle, all right? So you need to have, if you're going to flog yourself for the sake of performance gains or gaining muscle, as something that I'd like to do, or just say you want to do like some sort of 1 hour run and you want to beat your time. If you do that without some influence of carbohydrate, you're gonna burn out and start to burn up that muscle. So you need to put in your carbohydrate. Now you're going for that high performance. So if you want the most optimal level, you can have up to 60% of carbohydrate for your first. That's a lot of carbohydrate for your first meal, all right? And that's going to fill you right up. Now remember, we had that vasodilator that swells up our veins and gets a lot of blood to that muscle. Now we can have that vasodilator, so about say 50% of our daily intake of fat to facilitate that amount of performance. So we've flooded the bloodstream with that carbohydrate, but remember when we do that exercise, when we do that hour's worth of exercise, our insulin receptors are open 6 times more than normal, right? So even though you're flooding the bloodstream with so much carbohydrate, you're only going to suck it in anyway, all right? Your muscles are just going to mop it up. So you do that hour's worth of intensive cardio, whatever it might be, and that's fine. But at the same time, because your workout is so intense and you're going for that performance gain, you're going for your personal best or whatever it is, you're still going to drain out, okay? Remember, this person is still going for that fat loss, so it's still in a depletion. So they're still in a 20% depletion of calories, but they still want that performance gain. So you might not want to do it this way, but this will be the most optimal way to do it. It's a 60-40 rule. So the insulin receptors are still open, and they've just finished exercise, all right? Now, just after exercise, they put the rest of their carbohydrate in, so a whopping 40%. So they've used up their whole day's worth, their whole quota of carbohydrate just straight before and just straight after their exercise, all right? And they start to fill back up with carbohydrate again. So that's a 60-40 rule, which one of my coaches taught me, and I'm very thankful for that. Okay, so it just all gets sucked into that muscle. Now, if you don't follow the 60-40 rule and you get back to your desk and then you say, okay, well, I'm still a little bit hungry for carbohydrate, then you might do like a 50 and a 30 and then get back to your desk. You might want to put 20% of carbohydrates in there if that's what you want to do, or you might want to put some fats in there. Then for the rest of the day, there's no carbohydrates or fat. It's just like a chicken and a vegetable, you know. Might be boring to some people, but some people are after that optimal way, and that's how to do it. And so for the rest of the day, they're draining themselves out of carbohydrate and therefore burning a lot of fat. They've used 50% of their fat already, and then they're going to put in that other 50% before they go to sleep to help them sustain them through the night time. So, fuel for exercise. You don't need any calories for low-intensive cardio, all right? You can get around and your supply of your fat stores can equal the demand rate of your exercise of a slow. So there's nothing else there. Your blood is dry. You can rely just straight on your fat supply, even if you're depleted. Now, carbohydrate, you can have carbohydrate up to 60% before your workout, 1 hour before. And you might have fats 30 minutes before. You've still separated them somewhat. And then you can have 40% afterwards. That's that 40% rule. All right?